Hey everyone, and welcome back into the channel for a brand new emote tutorial. Yes, it has been some time since I've done one, but we're here, we're doing it. First of all, for those of you that are new, welcome on in. My name is Shay, and I am a full-time emote artist and illustrator. I have done thousands of emotes over on Twitch. I have even been commissioned to do some of Twitch's official global emotes, which was an absolute highlight in my career. And throughout the years, I have picked up so many new tips and so many new tricks that I want to share with you guys, including an even better workflow from my last video. So for context, I am an Apple user. You can see my iPad over here. I have recently upgraded from the second generation iPad Pro that I have been using since 2017. And I got the brand new 13-inch Pro version, and it is absolutely amazing. I also am using a iPad stand holder you can see here called the Sketchboard Pro. I love it. I find that it really helps with my back, my posture. I talked about it a lot in the first video, and that was the older model. This is the new model that has an extra incline position. It's the larger iPad. If you want to see a review video, I will link it up above as well as in the description. I do go pretty in depth with all the features. Highly recommend it. If you want to grab one, you can check out my Amazon storefront at the bottom of the description. I'm also using the Apple Pencil Pro, which I love because it has this feature where you can squeeze the pencil, which flips over your canvas. Sometimes drawing in one position can really skew your perspective. And if you're wondering what this sausagey looking grip is, this grip is available as well on my Amazon storefront, and I love it. It is so thick, it makes it much easier to hold the pencil. I find that with the Apple Pencil Pro, it is very thin, and it was really hurting my joints, specifically over here. And this larger grip has been really helpful just to make it more comfortable to draw. And yes, I am still using my drawing glove. Now, you don't actually need one. The iPad is very good at not registering your finger or your palm, but I find sometimes it's much harder for my hand to glide smoothly across the screen when it's skin to screen contact, so I still wear the glove. And the last thing you're gonna need is an app. Now, the app that you want to use really depends on you. However, I'm using an Apple product, and there is an app specifically for Apple products called Procreate, and I love it. I have been using it since I've started doing digital art. I find that what really got me into that program was, one, the cost, incredibly cheap. I believe it's maybe $10, $15. I don't know what the price is now because I did buy it a long time ago, but I know it's a one-time fee, unlike other programs where you have to pay a monthly subscription. So especially if you're just starting out, it is a very good program. And it's also very user-friendly. It has such a simple user interface. It's easy to get a handle on. There's a lot of tutorials online, including this one, that you can watch in order to sort of familiarize yourself with the program. So highly recommend it, though you can do emotes on basically any program, including even, I think, Microsoft Paint, but we're going to be using Procreate today. All right, guys, let's get started. By the way, if you want the full tutorial, definitely consider checking out my Patreon. We have monthly exclusive emotes, unedited versions of the tutorial, draw along style videos, and so much more. So if you want to check it out, it is in the description as well. So one of the first things that I have started doing in the last, I want to say, year was using an emote grid. The last one, I did not do that. It wasn't something that ever came across my radar, but I started using them now because I find that they really do help improve my workflow. They also really help with consistency. So when you do an emote grid, for example, there's some bunnies that I did here as an emote set for my Patreon members, and as well it's available in my pay to use shop. But I ended up drawing all these bunnies, and what I really enjoyed about the grid was that I can sketch them all out, take a look at them, make sure that they're consistent with sizing and details and all that. But what really is a huge highlight is the fact that you can color drop, and you can do all the flats, all the shadows, all the highlights, all the line work in one swoop across the canvas, and then just export it into a program, which I will show you guys. So stick around until the end because I will show you how I export. This grid is available for free on my Patreon, by the way. Just go ahead, check it out. It'll be there on the wall. You can use my grid. You can make your own grid. It's whatever suits you guys. I've chosen to do a raccoon for today's tutorial. I am Canadian, and we have a lot of trash pandas where I am. I think they are absolutely adorable.
Don't lie to me. I'm not cute.
And we're gonna do a raccoon holding a heart. So just a classic love emote. I thought that would be a good idea just to get some happy vibes going. The first thing I like to do is I do go on Google and I will look up some pictures of raccoons. So I literally have a screen full of raccoons right now. They're so stinking cute. I really love them and their little paws. And sometimes I will look up as well some like chibi versions of raccoons just so I can kind of see how other people drew them for some inspiration. But of course, we do want to make sure that when we're looking for inspo, we really differentiate inspo from copying, because it is very easy to start to do emotes that look exactly like other people's emotes, and you definitely don't want to be known as someone who's a copycat. People will always pick up on it and it's just not a good look, so let's not do that. Okay, so I've got my grid and I am going to go ahead and sketch out here sort of like the general shape of the raccoon. One of the first things I like to do is I do like to pull up a reference window. I find that that really helps me to see kind of like what the emote will look like when it's really small. So I'll just kind of shrink it down with my fingers there and get the general idea of, you know, how big I think the emote will be. And then I just start really loosely sketching. So we've got a new layer going. So now that I've got my 2 sketch layers done, I think that I'm ready for line work. Make sure. And yeah, I think it's really cute. I really like it. I think it looks awesome. So we're going to go into our line work. So we're going to take this original layer that we sketched on and we are going to just turn down the opacity really, really low to the point where you can barely see it. And then we're going to use an inking brush and we are going to ink over and do our line work. Okay, so the line work is all done. That was really easy. I personally am going to this is just a style choice. I'm going to color in all the markings. I don't want to outline it just because I like more of a softer emote on the inside portion and I like to have thicker lines on the outside. So to me, this is all finished. Because I'm using a grid, I will need to close off the line work because when I hide the grid, you can see actually look how open everything is. So when I go to color drop all my colors, it's going to bleed out and it's going to color all over the canvas. And by the way, I'm only doing 1 emote today just for the sake of the tutorial. But if I was to make this raccoon pack, which I will be doing, I will continue along the journey. So I'll make my love emote, I'll make a lurk emote, a stabby emote, an angry emote, whatever it is. I will do all the sketching at one time, then I'll do all the line work at one time so everything's consistent. But because I'm doing a tutorial, I'm just going to do 1 emote today. So we're going to take our grid layer, we're going to unlock it. And the reason why I lock it, by the way, is because I want to make sure I don't accidentally put any markings on it. That's important for the end of this tutorial. So we're going to lower the opacity just so I can see where the grid is while I close this layer off. Go back to our line work layer. We're going to select our inking pen. I'm just going to close this art. So literally, I'm just making like a little outline and you want to make sure all the pieces are closed. So I'm going to close this is the tail portion. I'm going to close that and separate it from the main body. And then I'm going to separate the hand because those are all going to be different layers. So close that hand off, put it there. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to look good. No one's going to see this part of the emote. You're just closing it off so you can color it. And now that that is done, I will bring the opacity on the grid layer all the way back up. I'm going to lock it again so I don't accidentally draw on it. And then we're going to select our line work layer and set it to reference. And what that does is it basically turns it into like a coloring page where the outlines now become like the border for where the colors are going to drop in. So we're going to select a new layer under the line work layer, and that's going to be my color layer. Okay, so now that the base colors are all done, we're gonna move on to, and I like to shade everything on one layer, and I will do a multiply layer. So what I'll do is I'll select a new layer on top of all the color layers, and underneath my line work layer, and I will set it to multiply. And what multiply does is it basically takes a color. So let's say we will take maybe a soft purple, like desaturated lavender sort of color. What it'll do is it will take that hue and it'll interact with the colors underneath it, sort of almost giving like a darkened tint to the colors that are under. So I like to, for my grays, I really love to use this lavender color, and I will just select it and just start shading based on where my light source is. Now that we're done with all our shadows, we are going to work on our light layer. So we are going to do a new layer on top, and I'm going to set it to add mode. You can do whatever you like. Some people do screen, some people do lighter colors, soft light, hard light, whatever it is. I do add, though it does create a much stronger lighting effect. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just lower the opacity of the layer. We've got all our shadows. It's really looking great. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to do a new thing that I enjoy doing, and that is coloring my line work. Now in my previous tutorial, I didn't do that. I preferred the black lines, but as I've, sort of developed my style, this is personal preference, but I like to have the outlines be very black and then the inside lines of my emote to be colored. I just think it looks a lot better. Now, I guess I chose a terrible example because this character is black and white essentially, so there's not a lot of color in the line work to be had, but we will do some. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to alpha lock the layer. What alpha lock does is it makes it so only the pixels that are colored on that layer will be colored. So no empty pixels will be. So we alpha lock the line art layer. I'm going to take a reddish color and I am going to add that to the eyes. I think that'll just make them kind of pop off the screen a little bit better. As you can see, that did affect the nose. So I'm just going to grab a dark color here, back in, and then I'm just going to color in the nose and make sure that doesn't stay red. And then I'm going to soften the ears. I don't wanna be Okay, so the emote's done. I really like it. I think it looks absolutely adorable. And so what do we do now? Well, this is the best part of the new emote tutorial, and that is how I export my grid. So the reason why I chose to do the bunnies as well is just so you guys can see. So now I've got all my emotes. What I will do is I will go down to the background layer and I'm going to turn it off. And the reason why is because we are going to export this grid as a PNG and we're going to upload it to Google Drive. The reason why is because I'm on my iPad. The program we're going to be using is called Pebby. It's going to be down below and you can find a link to it in the description. And essentially what that does is it's a PC app, and what it'll do is it'll grab this grid and then it essentially cuts out all the squares and takes that emote, so the waving bunny, the heart bunny, and then you can name it and export it. And I'll show you anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself, but you're going to want to download Pebby and then follow along with me. So turned off the background layer, it's going to be a clear PNG. Please make sure, one of the biggest mistakes a lot of people make is that they leave the sketch layer turned on. Don't want to do that. You want to make sure that is all off. It has to be a clean, ready to go emote. And the reason why I locked the layer here is because let's say by accident, didn't unlock it. Oh, let me just, and we were coloring, we were on the wrong layer for some reason. We did a mark like this, didn't realize because we were so focused over here on our raccoon. We didn't even notice. then when you go to export Pebby, it grabs the grid layer. And so you can have this huge line across everything. So that's why it's very important to always make sure that that layer, the grid, is locked. Never want to draw on it by accident. So we're gonna go to this little wrench icon, and we're gonna go to share, and then you're going to share as a PNG. And I'm gonna go ahead and select the Google Drive because that's what I use in order to get my iPad work onto my PC. Like I said, we're working on an iPad, so there is no other way really to do it. Pebby doesn't work on iPads. So maybe it does, I don't think so though. So we're gonna go to our drive and we're just gonna go ahead and upload it from there. All right, so the program that I was talking about that you wanna purchase is called Pebby. Again, I will link it down in the description below, but essentially what it is an emote previewer, exporter. It grabs it from a grid. You can even upload a single emote if you wanted to. It'll resize it all in one swoop, and you can even do custom sizes, Twitch badge, Twitch emote, all of that. It is amazing. I'm actually just using the free one. You can use the free one. You just get ads every once in a while, but you're going to want to download this. Once you've done it, we're going to meet back up in just a second. So let's do it. Now that we have it opened up, we're going to want to click this select image. And this is going to grab our new grid that I've already downloaded from my Google Drive. So I will join you guys in just a second. Don't want to dox myself. And here it is. Now, we only see the raccoon. Why is that? It's because we have to go to our tiling and cutter. So as you can see here, we've got the tile size. Each of my emotes are 700 pixels by 700. I just find that that's the workflow I like the best because it's the brush sizes I'm used to. It's the pixelation size that I'm used to, and I find that if the client ever wanted the emote to be merch like a sticker or a pin or something, it does make it, I think, around like 2 to 3 inches as a physical size. So it's a really good size to work with, and it doesn't take up too much space on your iPad. As you can see, I had plenty of layers, and my border size is 65 pixels between each grid. And so what happens is it now separates these tiles. As you can see, if I'm clicking on the image here, it's going from tile 1, 2, 3. And so all it's doing is it's just moving over 65 pixels. So 65 pixels, here's your next emote. 65 pixels, here's your next emote. 65 pixels down, there's your next emote. And so that's how it works. So we're gonna go over to our preview, and then you can take a look at what it looks like. In dark mode, you can select light mode, you can select a custom color if you want to, Discord color, and you can see all the different sizes here, and we can go back on our grid and look at all the other emotes that I have done as well. And this is where you get to see exactly what they look like before you export them, if there's anything you want to fix before you send it to your client. So I'm happy with it. So we're going to click on exporter. And as you can see, we can rename them all. I've already done these bunnies, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the raccoon. I'm going to call it love for this specific raccoon, and I will export. Now for our clients, this is the one where people are like, how do you get it to your client? What I will do is I will make a brand new folder in Google Drive for my client, and I will name it their Twitch username. Because I'm doing this for, let's say, a pre-made, I will export this to emote, a raccoon pack emote. And you know, I'm just going to make it right now for you. So we're going to go to our Google Drive, and we are going to call this raccoon. I don't even know how to spell raccoon. Is it 2 C's? Raccoon emote pack. The folder is there. And then I'm going to go over here, and the export path is where do you want to send these? So I'm going to send these to my drive, and I will select my raccoon emote pack. And as you can see here, that's the export file. So I'm going to export, you can export all if you want to. I'm going to export selected. So I selected my raccoon, called it love, and I'm going to export the Twitch emote size and just hit export. And then I like to include Discord stickers. A Discord sticker is 320 pixels, and that's why you can see it's already there as my standard. And so I'm going to click that and export that as well. And as you guys can see, the raccoon emote pack is there. There are all my sizes. I'm not sure what happened to the Discord one. Oh, there it is. It popped up. And then that's it. You want to share it with your client. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to go over here to the raccoon emote pack with the folder, share, and then select anyone with link, or you can also select, you can keep it as restricted and do invite only if you want to be like really private, and then copy the link and send it to your client. And there you go. All the emotes are there ready to go. All right, and if you want to see what it looks like live in action, how it exports, let's say this was your emote pack. Let's pretend this person commissioned all these emotes from me and I got to send them to them. I'm just going to hit the Twitch emote size or Discord size, whatever it is you want to send over, and make sure I have all the names and just hit selected or all, export. We'll do selected because I selected them. And then you'll see that they will start populating over in this Google Drive folder in just a second. And then that's it. It's super easy. You don't have to sit there, manually resize everything. It just does it all for you. And there it is. It's usually a lot faster than this. It's probably because I'm recording a video and so it's deciding to be slow. But there are all the emotes and then you can send that off to your client. And that's all there is to it. I hope that you found this tutorial very helpful. I cannot wait to see some of your emotes. If you guys have done any from before and have any improvement, I would love to see it. Tag me, go forth, make beautiful emotes. And if you had any other ideas or suggestions for future tutorials, definitely drop them in the comments. I would love to do more of these. Thank you so much for watching.